For the St. Louis Cardinals and coach Jim Hannafin, the 1984 season ended too soon. Remember Neil O'Donoghue's missed 50-yard field goal with time running out against Washington? A win would have given the Cardinals the NFC East title. Instead, they finished out of the playoffs. It's 1 year later, and running back Otis Anderson will help lead a hungry team that is striving for a playoff berth. Enthusiastic young quarterback Neil Lomax is emerging as one of the NFL's finest, and 85 should be his best year. His favorite target, Roy Green, the league's most dangerous deep threat. And Cardinal fans hope that the Lomax to Green combination can bring a championship to St. Louis. A championship was exactly what Cleveland fans got when rookie Otto Graham led the Browns to the All-America Conference title in 1946. Now, 39 years later, Cleveland has another rookie quarterback, Bernie Kosar, a local boy who always wanted to play for the Browns. But the season opens today, and veteran Gary Danielson will start at quarterback. He'll be looking for Ozzie Newsome, the AFC's leading receiver in '84. Last year, the Browns led the AFC in total defense, but they'll have their hands full today. The Cardinals and the Browns kick off the season on CBS.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the St. Louis Cardinals against the Cleveland Browns.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're on the lakefront at the venerable Municipal Stadium, and a crowd of 65,000 plus will watch the action. And it should be a great game. It is hot, hot, hot to the point where fans have been placed along the sideline. 84 degrees and a high of 90 has been forecast. It'll be a good game with the Cardinals and the Browns for us and for you. Hank Stram was at practice yesterday and has some impressions about both of these teams.
Jack, number one, the St. Louis Cardinals are a very poor grass football team. They have only won 3 out of 10 in the last 5 years. On the other hand, they're a very poor starting team in that they've only won 4 out of 15 in the last 5 years, so they want to get off to a good start. Some observations about both teams, talking to the Cleveland Browns out of practice and their coaches and players. You come away with the idea that they're very confident, they're very poised, they're very loose, and they're realistic about their goal here this afternoon. On the other hand, the St. Louis Cardinals, watching them practice yesterday, they too appear to be very confident, possibly overconfident, and you get the feeling there's a little feeling of nonchalance. We'll find out in just a moment.
All right, Hank, there's Neil O'Donoghue. He'll kick off. The Browns have won the toss, and their deep man is Glenn Young. He is back standing at the goal line. O'Donoghue doesn't usually kick it into the end zone. And the referee is Jerry Seaman, and he'll turn him loose right now. Nice warm day. That grass, by the way, on this field is quite high to the point where O'Donoghue and the punter Birdsong practiced during the week on a grass field at Washington University in St. Louis. Here we go. We hope you enjoy the game and the season. And Young will take it from the 5-yard line. 10-15, and did not get to the 20-yard line. And lo and behold, we have flags on the very first play of the game. Downfield for the Cardinals, Iko Noga with the first tackle of the day. And an injured player on the very first play of the game, and a penalty coming up against the Browns. Hank, that's what Cleveland does not need. They don't need injuries. They don't need to get behind. They're a young team on offense that wants to get out in front and gain a little confidence.
Yeah, the one thing they want to do, they want to hopefully play on a shorter field than the St. Louis Cardinals, and they defeat that purpose right off the bat because of a penalty, and now they have to go a long way to get 3 points or 7 points on the board. And incidentally, Jack, 90% of the time the team that kicks off usually scores first.
And we have the lineups for the Browns after the penalty assessed against Curtis Weathers. Gary Danielson, the quarterback. Ernest Biner and Kevin Mack, their running backs. Willis Adams and Fred Banks are the wide receiver. Up front, it's a rather new offensive line with Paul Farron, George Ilja, Mike Babb, Dan Fike, Cody Risen, who missed last year, back in action, and Ozzie Newsome, the tight end. And it is going to be first down and 10 from the 9-yard line. Glenn Young, who took the kickoff and was hit by Noga, comes off the field. So the ball is at the Cleveland 10. knew that early on this year, talking with Hank Stram before the preseason even started, that Gary Danielson would be their starting quarterback.
We talked about it a long time ago, and I sincerely felt in the final analysis that probably Danielson would be the quarterback he is, and they like him very much. He's a very resourceful guy and has really done a super job every place he's been.
It is Biner in the backfield, and a pass play coming up on first down, and it is caught out for a 5-yard gain. Kevin Mack swung out of the backfield. And the lineup for the Cardinals on defense, they're one of the few teams these days that plays the 4-man front with Bubba Baker, Mark Duda, David Galloway, and Curtis Greer up front. Their linebackers are Thomas Howard, E.J. Jr. in the middle, the weak side linebacker Freddie Joe Nunn, and Lionel Washington, Wayne Smith on the corners, Leonard Smith, the strong safety, and Benny Perrin is out of the lineup, and the rookie Lonnie Young is playing. 2 tight ends, Harry Holt and Ozzie Newsome, 2nd down and 5 from the 15. Mack is the lone setback. And a give to Kevin Mack, and sliding on the dirt part of the field. He's good for only a yard. That'll make it 3rd down and 4. And Lonnie Young, the rookie out of Michigan State, the free safety, came up on a very strong force. 3rd down and 4 for the Browns.
Well, they like him very much. He has good range. He was a number 12 draft choice. And that time he read the play beautifully and came in from his weak safety position to make the tackle.
You see that Kevin Mack played with the Los Angeles Express. That makes him a rookie in the National Football League. He's out at Clemson, a 6-footer, 212. And let's see what the Browns do on 3rd down and see if they can get the first down. Willis Adams comes wide to the right. Ernest Biner is the running back. Danielson out of the shotgun. And a bad snap and a fumble inside the 15-yard line. And it belongs to Danielson. He got it back. Cleveland almost lost the ball, and they're going to have to punt. Looked like David Galloway came very close to picking that one up. So Jeff Gossett comes into the game as Danielson never did get the snap out of the shotgun formation.
We're going to watch a great punter here, Jeff Gossett. Watch how quickly he gets. He's a 2-step kicker.
He drives Stump Mitchell way back. It's over his head, and it's out of bounds inside the 25. Oh, you called it, Hank. You talk about a great kicker. He really thumped that one.
The other thing, you talk about a thunderfoot. He's a 2-step kicker, which is very rare today. He gets the ball off once it gets in his hands, Jack, in about 1.1 second, which is incredible. Incredibly fast. He's only had 1 kick blocked in all the time he's been a punter, but he's one of the great kickers, I think, in the National Football League.
63 yards to the Cardinal 22. Neil Lomax, Otis Anderson, Earl Farrell in the backfield, Roy Green, Pat Tilley, the wide receivers. Up front, Louise Sharp, Doug Dawson, Randy Clark, Joe Bostic, Tony Robbins, and the tight end, Doug Marsh. Boy, that really should lift the defense. It was good enough going in. Lomax under center from the 22. What a kick by Gossett. 63 yards. 2 tight ends, Marsh and LaFleur. And Otis Anderson in the backfield. And he comes out to the 25. He got 3. He ran into Carl Hairston, number 78. He used to play with the Eagles. Cleveland uses a 3-man front with Reggie Kemp, Bob Golick, and Carl Hairston. Their linebackers, one better than the other. Chip Banks, Eddie Johnson, Tom Cousineau, and Clay Matthews. And their backfield on the corners, Frank Minifield, Hanford Dixon, Al Gross, and Don Rogers are the safety men, and it's 2nd down and 7 for Cleveland. Still 2 tight ends with Roy Green off to the right. Farrell, the fullback, on a wing. Anderson in the backfield, Farrell in motion. And a Lomax to Anderson in a misdirection. He gets outside, comes to the 30. It's going to be about 3rd and 1 as he went out of bounds at the 31. Frank Minifield came up and forced it. Minifield, 180 pounds, a little fella comparatively, number 31.
You know, I talked to Otis Anderson before the game on the field, and I asked him specifically, would you rather run on grass or synthetic turf? No question. I'd much rather run on synthetic turf. I asked Stump Mitchell the same question, and he, too, emphatically said he'd much rather run on synthetic turf. But they're running on grass today.
We talked about those good linebackers at Cleveland. The Browns have to toughen up front. It is 3rd down and 1. They really stacked the line. And the give to O.J., and he gets a first down. O.J. Anderson out to about the 33 or 4 yard line, and that's the first down of the day. And Eddie Johnson, inside linebacker, and Chip Banks, number 56, made the tackle. We have a couple of scores for you of other games here on the first day of the National Football League. The Giants are out ahead. Manuel caught a touchdown pass from Sims. They lead the Eagles 7-0 first quarter.
And they won all 6 of their, or all 4 preseason games. Here's another one, San Francisco.
And the Champs are out in front on a 2-yard run by Roger Craig, and they lead Minnesota. First down, St. Louis from their 35. First pass by Lomax, and caught by the tight end Marsh for a 5-yard gain. Doug Marsh, number 80, caught it. Tackled by Tom Cousineau. Jim Hannafin spoke in glowing terms of these Cleveland linebackers, didn't he, Hank? But that's not unusual.
No, that's justifiably so, because I think everybody in the league agrees that these linebackers are as good as they come. Clay Matthews on the right linebacker, 57, is an amazing player. He's not overly large. He's not very big until he hits you.
Pat Tilley is to the left. Cedric Mack is in as a wide receiver, and Rory Green in the slot on 2nd down and 5. Lomax to O.J. and a very good block by Dawson, but then O.J. was driven back, no gain, and Eddie Johnson, reputed to be the fastest of their linebackers, made the hit on Anderson.
And he said yesterday, talking to him, he said, "Please, Coach, don't call me the other linebacker. My name is Eddie Johnson." And here we see him, number 51, watching with the flow of the play. He doesn't over-pursue, which is very important. Gets into the hole with square shoulders and is able to make the tackle. That's one thing that they're very, very concerned about, is not over-pursuing, because Anderson is such a great cutback runner. There was a great illustration of that situation right there with Eddie Johnson.
And they put in the extra back for Cleveland, and out of the shotgun. 3rd down and 5 for Lomax and company. Steps up and runs, and down he goes. He was caught from behind by Reggie Camp. Reggie Camp made the tackle. Otherwise, Lomax would have had a first down, but St. Louis has to punt.
He was not decisive enough that time, Jack. I thought if it had taken off right away, he might have been able to get away from the defensive right end, but he hesitated just long enough where he did get caught from the backside.
Weathers goes back as the deep man. And the first punt from Birdsong. You can see his very good kicking average last year. A little better the year before, actually. The snap will come from Carlos Scott. And Cleveland apparently came offside. It still will not be enough for a first down, however.
Don Rogers, number 20, trying to anticipate the cadence and
number 20
and trying to get jump on the ball was premature.
Why did he do that?
He didn't know what the count was, I guess. They should tell him before they snap the ball what it's going to be, so he can time that better.
AFC Rookie of the Year, 1984, Don Rogers. He's a pupper. The ball's at the 42.
And is he big and strong? He looks like a linebacker. I was amazed to watch him and look at him yesterday out of practice.
Weathers back to get the punt inside his 20. E.J. Jr. back there is the blocking fullback, and the punt by Birdsong. Oh, we've had 2 good punts here today, and Weathers takes it on the 9, 10, 15, 20. He's out to the 25. The Browns will go from there, and the tackle by Freddie Joe Nunn, the newcomer to the Cardinals. So Cleveland gets the ball for the 2nd time, and that was a 49-yard punt. Not quite as good as Gossett, but a good one nonetheless. Browns take over for the 2nd time. They're at their own 25. Hammer told Art Modell, the owner of the Browns, "Give me 3 years and I'll have you the best defense in the league." He was second only to the Bears last year.
He feels very good about his team, and he just hopes now that he can have the offense catch up with the defense, and if he does that, he's going to be in good shape.
Mack is the fullback, and Biner the tailback. Danielson the quarterback from the 25. Here comes Biner, and there he goes. He is spun down for a loss by David Galloway, who had very good penetration, number 65. We have 3 scores of other games. Atlanta. Gerald Riggs on a 7-yard run. They lead Detroit 7-0 the first quarter. And Tony Collins with a touchdown puts the Patriots in front of Green Bay. Yet another. Seattle on a pass from Dave Craig to Byron Walker. What's new? Nothing. Huh?
Nothing. Same old song.
Same old song, same old players. 2nd down and 11 for Cleveland. Danielson to throw. Has time over the middle and broken up on a flag. Wayne Smith is called on interference. They're a lot more liberal this year with those interference calls, but you cannot go through a man, and that's what he tried to do.
I think possibly he tried to knock it down with his left hand and might have had his right hand on his back. We have to take a look at that and see if that was what happened, but that's usually the case, Jack.
Yeah.
Trying to go for the ball and he get the other hand on the back.
No, Wayne Smith used to be with Danielson at Detroit. By the way, Tom Bettis, who was the defensive coordinator.
Illegal contact, number 44, defense, first down.
Tom Bettis, who was with Cleveland, is with Cleveland now. He was with Hannafin last year.
And talking to Tom about Wayne Smith, here's a good picture of it. Here's a replay. Oh, you see, you can't see his right hand, but look at it. It's on his shoulder pad. That's what happened. He hit him in the back with the right hand, and that's why they call pass interference. A good call by the official.
First down at the 30-yard line. For the Browns, second possession of the game for them. Back. And a big pile-driving run out across the 35. He averaged more than 5 yards per carry in the preseason. Tackle by Lonnie Young. Freddie Joe Nunn, the #1 draft pick of the Cardinals out of Mississippi, was also in on the title. 2nd and 4, and that's the kind of call you like to make, Hank. 2nd and 4.
Well, that's when it's fun to be the quarterback, and I think going into the game plan for the Cleveland Browns basically was to run the ball as much as they possibly could, to establish play-action passes, and stay out of long yardage situations, and that's their plan, and so far they're doing a pretty good job with it.
Adams in motion. Look out, and a blitz coming with Leonard Smith. A strong safety on a blitz, and he did not miss, did he?
That's the thing about a play-action pass, Jack. While you're faking, you don't get a chance to see the blitzers. Danielson did not see Smith at all. From the left of your screen, watch him come in here. See, he has no idea where he's coming from because he's involved in a fake, and that's what happens with play-action fakes. Play-action fakes are good if the team is reading, but if they're blitzing, it's not a good call.
They're back to 3rd and 10 at their 30-yard line with Adams, the wide receiver, to the right. Off to the left side is Fred Banks, the rookie. 3rd and 10 out of the shotgun. Gets a good snap this time. No pressure. And the pass caught and dropped. Incomplete. And the Browns will have to punt, and that ball would not have been enough for a first down anyhow. And I know you don't like that, Hank.
Yeah, that's always the amazing thing to me is that they know they have to make 9 yards for a first down, and then they throw the ball to a receiver who is about 6 yards down the field. I can't understand that logic. You would think that they'd send everybody down at least 12 yards and then have to give them about 3 yards leeway and then come back for the ball if they have to, but make sure if they're going to catch the ball and pass block and throw it, that it's going to be enough for the first down.
7 minutes left in the first quarter, no scores. Second punt by Jeff Gossett. I know he's not going to kick one better than his first. Stump Mitchell is the kicker, is the kick return man. And he takes it on the 28. He's tough. He is tough. Oh, brother. And he kept his feet. He's out to the 40 as it is. He would have gone a good deal further. There are no flags, and the Browns give it up. St. Louis gets it for the second time. Don Rogers was the tackler. Well, I'm wrong. There is a flag. There is a flag. A penalty against the Browns. And let's see what St. Louis decides. They can either take over on the 40 after declining the penalty.
With that kind of a kicker, I would just think they decline the penalty, Jack, and take the ball on about the 40-yard line. This guy's allowed to kick one right out of the end, right close to the end zone.
Downfield, number 80, offense, penalty decline, first down.
For the Browns, Willis Adams was downfield. There's Jim Hannafin, the head coach of the Cardinals, in his 6th year now. No score, first quarter. Defense earned quite a fine reputation last year, and they started calling themselves the Dogs, and they do it in classy style, don't they? And the fans have picked up on it. They throw dog bones and everything else down on the field. They're an enthusiastic group, Hank, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they really are. And Dixon, he's the one who started the thing, and he told the defensive line, listen, if we're going to win, you guys have to play like dogs, and they all started to bark, and that's how it all got started.
Fake to Anderson. Pass to Farrell. And he dives across the 45 out to the 48. Very close to a first down. I don't know much about Earl Farrell. He's in his 5th year now out of East Tennessee State. 6-footer, 224. That's a lot of weight on that frame.
Yeah, you know, but in college at East Tennessee State, he averaged 5.3.
Roy Green is down. Look at there. What's that all about? What's that all about? Pat Tilley and others come out. Let's watch and see what he did. He was going deep as Farrell caught the short pass. They got their legs all tangled up. And down he went.
Yeah,
he was being covered by Minifield.
Yeah, I think he just hit Minifield as he was running behind him, and they got their feet tangled up, and he went down.
The Cardinals can't afford. He's limping perceptibly as he comes off. And St. Louis can't afford to lose him, can they? A lot of times the coaches don't even come around when a player is injured, but when Green gets hurt, the coach comes around, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets their attention in a big hurry. He might have just got kicked in the shins. Hopefully, maybe that's what it is. But it's hard to tell.
Okay, it's a first down for St. Louis at their 48-yard line. Cedric Mack is in as a wide receiver, taking Green's spot. Tilley is to the right. Here comes Farrell, the fullback. Pretty good block by O.J. Anderson, and a run good for about 3 before Tom Cousineau made another tackle. You know, Cousineau's out of Ohio State and a real favorite here.
That's an unusual play, Jack, only because in most cases why the fullback is going to lead the halfback into the designated area. That time the halfback led the fullback, and they did a pretty good job and made some yardage on the play. But Earl Farrell was the ball carrier, and usually he's the blocker.
We get a word on Roy Green. He was kicked in the right foot, and they expect him to come back. The ball's at the Browns' 49. Second down and 7. 2 tight ends, Marsh and LaFleur. Back in motion. Anderson on a bit of a delay, breaks outside, and very close to a first down near the Browns' 42, and another tackle by Cousineau.
Cousineau is a great linebacker from side to side. He patrols the interior of the field extremely well. He's very hard to fool, and that's why they're using some counter plays. There's a play right up the middle, and there you see Cousineau in the hole, and he's got enough speed to catch him from the backside and make the play. Tom Cousineau, number 50.
But it is a first down for St. Louis. We have 5 minutes left in the first quarter, no score. Roy Green is back into the game, and he comes left, number 81. Tilley to the right, high formation with Anderson. Anderson and a big hit by Chip Banks. Banks, the linebacker, really penetrated. He had him in his sights, didn't he?
He really did, and he's big enough. He looks like the heavyweight champion of the world. You look at him in a pair of shorts. He's really put together. Here's the play. And watch Chip Banks get penetration on the inside and makes the tackle on Otis Anderson in the backfield. And usually it's very difficult for one guy to knock Otis Anderson down. He did it, but he's got good size. And we asked him whether he'd like to play defensive end instead of linebacker, and he said he'd play any place he has to play to help his football team. It is very obvious he prefers the linebacker position.
Second down and 10. Lomax. And incomplete to Green. Green had all kinds of company downfield, including the linebacker, Eddie Johnson, and Don Rogers. The linebacker did a very good job of staying with Roy Green, and it's third down.
He really did. He was back there about 15, 20 yards, and that's very difficult for a linebacker. There you see him come up there in front and reach and try to knock the ball down. The ball was thrown a little bit too high. Don Rogers was also involved in the play, and there was very good coverage on that last pass pattern.
Felix Wright checks into the backfield along with Larry Brazil for the Browns on 3rd and 10. Tilley right, back left, Green to the left in the slot, out of the shotgun. They like to throw to Mitchell, too. Third down, flag is down, and intercepted. Don't forget, there's a flag down. Racing back inside the Cardinal 40, And with the ball is Brazil down to the 12. Now let's check the flag. They're going to call it back, I think. It was Chris Rockins is the one who intercepted. Made a great return, but apparently Cleveland was offside.
96, I think, was offside. Reggie Camp.
Right.
I think he was offside on the play.
And Rockins, out of Oklahoma State, ran it back to the St. Louis 20, but they call it back. And that'll make it 3rd and 5. Bad break for the Browns.
Chip Banks, number 56, was blitzing on the play. Was not able to make penetration.
Offside, number 96. Defense, still 3rd down.
Reggie Camp was the culprit.
You know, they were concerned about Camp. They were afraid maybe he was not going to be able to play. He had his foot stepped on, and they were very concerned. But he recovered nicely during the course of the week, and he, of course, started the game and was playing very well.
And we see the Giants padding their lead. It's still in the first quarter, 14-0 over the Eagles. And Tampa Bay and the Bears are tied in the first quarter.
Well,
we have a St. Louis timeout with 3:50 left. It's 3rd down and 5. 3:50 left in the first quarter. Pittsburgh goes ahead in their game as well. You see Roy Green, he's still limping along the sideline. Pittsburgh's ahead of Indianapolis. 3:50 left in the scoreless first quarter.
There's a shot of Dick Jamieson, who is the offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's very optimistic and very enthusiastic about that responsibility. And he was one of our first quarterbacks when we started the American Football League way back in 1960 with the Dallas Texans.
He replaces Rod Dowhower, who's now the head coach at Indianapolis. Stump Mitchell in the backfield on 3rd and 5, running with the ball. Nothing doing. You're not going anywhere, Stump. Cleveland had gone into a 4-man front, and Sam Clancy led the rush, and St. Louis will have to punt. A strange call on 3rd and 5, wasn't it?
Watch it here again. It's a counter play. He didn't wait very long for the lineman, Louis Sharp, to get out in front of him. He hurriedly made the step to his left and into his right, and he didn't get a chance for those people to get out in front. As a result, the defense recovered nicely and made a play, and now they're kicking on 4th down.
Carl Birdsong punting for the 2nd time, and Clarence Weathers stands at his 10. He's on the baseball part of this field. Good snap by Carlos Scott. Kicks it high, short, well covered. Look out, and a fair catch. He took it on the 25. Weathers very sure-handed on that one. The Browns get it for the 3rd time. 2:56 left in the first quarter and no score. This typical first game for these two teams, right? They're feeling their way a bit.
I think so. I think, you know, if you're not careful, I don't care how you slice it, you play the game with the express purpose of winning the game and not being fearful of losing it. But in the first game, you're so concerned about trying to win a game that unconsciously, sometimes you play with the fear of losing, and that's the way they're playing so far, I think.
That was only a 16-yard punt by Birdsong, and here we go from the Browns' 25. Back and Biner in the backfield. Ernest Biner, and he ran by Baker and got 5 yards. Ran right by Bubba Baker.
You know, that kind of a play is kind of ancient history. The old handoff straight ahead. Everybody runs sideways so much. I still think it's a good play because it hits so quickly and you're going straight ahead, and before the guy can react, you're right by him, and that's what happened with Baker. They just ran right by him on a quick handoff.
Miami jumps ahead of Houston in their game. 3-0 first quarter. Tampa Bay ahead of the Bears now, 14-7 in the first quarter. They don't usually score that many points on the Bears early in the game. 2nd down and 5. Fumble, and St. Louis has it. St. Louis has it inside the Browns' 35-yard line. Recovered by Lonnie Young, the rookie from Michigan State. I didn't see what caused the ball to shake loose, did you?
It looked like the quarterback might have gotten out of there just a little quicker, and Paul Farron, the left tackle, was premature on his pull. He might have had something to do with a bad exchange too, but he left prematurely, and I'm surprised that he wasn't called. Watch the left tackle. Look at him coming. No, they never got the exchange between the center and the quarterback.
And Farron had the ball hit him on the chest.
It's a wonder the quarterback didn't signal for a fair catch. He went up in the air high enough.
Mike Babb, the center, and Ian Danielson didn't perk. And Lonnie Young comes away with the ball at the Cleveland 34. He's a lot tougher than he used to be, Hank.
I think it's difficult when you take over as a line coach and then become the head coach. You're still very close to the people that you coach, and it takes a little time for you to get acclimated being a head coach and making sure that you do what you have to do to win.
Lomax dumps it off to Earl Farrell, and he has a first down inside the 20, 15-10. First and goal for St. Louis. Earl Farrell with some brilliant running. Tom Cousineau saved the touchdown for Cleveland. A little dump-off pass.
There's a great illustration, I think, of how far Lomax has come as a quarterback. Now watch, he play action fakes. He stands in the pocket. I think in his early stages he would have taken off and run, but he stayed right in there till the last very second, saw Farrell open, dumped the ball off to him, and as a result they have a great gain on the play, and they're down on the 4-yard line. But I think in the past he'd have taken off and run.
There's a 30-yard gain down to the 4-yard line, first and goal. Anderson trying for his first touchdown of the year, and he gets it. A 4-yard plow by Anderson, who never did go down. He weighs 225 pounds.
Flags are down, though.
Flags are down. He pulled Don Rogers into the end zone with him. Let's check the play. We have 1:18 left in the first quarter. We have no score unless this penalty is against Cleveland.
Illegal substitution. Number 47 was in the offensive backfield. Penalty on the defense. Penalty declined. Touchdown.
Jerry Seaman tells you all. The penalty declined and a 4-yard run by O.J. Anderson for the first touchdown of the year. Six nothing St. Louis with 1:18 left in the first quarter. And O'Donoghue tries the extra point. Last year he kicked 48 out of 51. We'll show you that touchdown again. Scott Bruner is doing the holding with Denny Perrin out of the lineup. And it becomes 7-0. Remember last year in the opener, O'Donoghue missed an extra point against Green Bay, and that cost him a game, didn't it?
Sure did.
Probably was one of the things that
There's
cost him.
Bostic pulling on the play. The lead blocker, number 24, Wolfley, leading the play. And look at, he goes through the pile, goes into the pile, and goes through the pile. And look at the lean, and look at the way he finishes, and goes right into the end zone for the touchdown. Boy, what a great effort on the part of Otis Anderson, number 32.
All of that after the fumble and the recovery by Lonnie Young on the missed snap from center. Anderson has carried 7 times.
Yeah, for 24 yards and a touchdown. And I don't know whether people around the country fully realize how big he is. He's 6'2", 220, and he runs like he's about 240.
I know the Cardinals really wouldn't trade him for anybody, Hank. He gets a lot of criticism occasionally in St. Louis because they think he's inconsistent, but the coaches really admire him.
I think you have to admire him, and I think once the St. Louis Cardinals reach a level with regard to performance of victory and winning more games, he's going to get a lot more recognition, and the kind of recognition that he deserves, because he's really a great running back.
O'Donoghue will kick it off, and Glenn Young, who took the opening kickoff in this game, is back. Young is standing at the goal line. Young out of Mississippi State. O'Donoghue played at Auburn. He is from Ireland. An old Irish footballer. Oh, what a short kick this is. One of the up men takes it at the 15-yard line. That's Greg Allen. And he got about 3 before he is smothered. College football returns to CBS Sports next Saturday. That tackle made by Charles. Ball at the Browns' 18-yard line. They trail 7-0, and they send Biner in motion. Danielson swings it out to Mack. You can see that one coming. He gets some yards out to the 20-yard line. Good for only a couple. He lowered his shoulder and ran into Freddie Joe Nunn and a few fisticuffs. Lionel Washington, number 48, was involved.
That kind of a play, Jack, is a option play where he looks downfield to throw the ball to the receiver, and if he's open, he throws the ball to him, and depending on the linebacker drop, if he gets good depth while he's going to throw the ball to the back, which he did. He evidently thought the back had enough room, but in spite of that, why they came up quickly and made the tackle.
Second down and 8. Banks is to the left along with Adams. Adams comes back in motion. And it looks like Farron, the left tackle, beat the snap count. Well, it's a young offensive unit that the Browns are putting together, and you do things like that.
You know, Farron, in all fairness to him, he's been an offensive center the last 2 years. His last 2 years in college.
Still third down.
And he's a young player at the tackle position, but there's still no reason, no excuse whatsoever for you to be offside. It's just a lack of concentration, and that's all there is, Jack. You can't make any excuses for it. It's a lack of concentration.
21 seconds left in the first quarter. St. Louis on top, 7-0. And it is second down and 13. Sims in motion. And the running play does nothing, as Kevin Mack ran with it and Lonnie Young tackled it. And Lonnie Young has been in the middle of a lot of things for a rookie, and that marks the end of the third quarter. When we start the second quarter, the Browns are going to have third down and 13. The only touchdown, a run of 4 yards by O.J. Anderson.